I was totally just about to say good morning because that's what I'm so used to saying when I do these lives. I have not been on for the last couple of weeks doing the tea time togetherness because things have been so abundant and so much has been happening and going on. And I am back and I am ready to be sharing some of this abundance that has been happening so that you can share this abundance. Um, yeah. So, where am I today? I am in my new healing space. Keep your eyes peeled because I'm going to be doing a little post about it later um, to show it off. I'm so very excited for it. I've only been in a couple of days and I feel so blessed to be in here and I'm so excited. I've already seen a client in here and it's my space 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, which is what I wanted to be able to create the energy vortex without having to shift out, without having to clear it every single time I came in. I clear it with every session, but not having to remove the energy of other people, other beings, other things from sessions that I haven't partaken in and that I know are there. Because for me, it is helpful to be involved. If I'm involved in that, I know what I am removing from the space, or I have an energetic connection to be able to pull it and draw it out that much easier and keep it clear. And just the power that happens within a space when it is the same, especially with esoteric acupuncture, it has these templates that create the spin vortex. And then we have Tamiana crystal healing, which also creates this pyramidal. I was going to say pyramidic. I don't think that's a word. It is now this pyramidic effect that creates that healing on the fifth and sixth dimensions. So I'm so blessed. I will do, I'll show you, I'm going to do little stories after this and give you a tour. So stay tuned if you want to see that. But what should we talk about today? Today, I want to talk about joy. And this antenna, it looks like it's coming out of my head. Like it's my antakarana going up to the other dimensions. It even glows. What? That's what it looks like. Anyways, let's see. I want to talk about joy and finding that joy and what releases that joy from our life. By releasing that joy, I mean removing it or making it so that we're no longer attuned to what brings us joy because so many things have brought us down. Those denser energies have brought us down and are holding us down, and we can't see through because there are so many I can'ts, and there's so many I'm unable to's, and oh, so many I shouldn'ts, and just too many. And eventually our brain goes onto this pathway of no, so it's harder to see that joy that is actually around and in our life. Hmm. I just realized how close that was to you. Actually, really close. So what's in my cup today? Because I tea time togetherness. I always have tea. What's in my cup first? Today is all about chamomile and lavender, and as usual, honey. Chamomile is great for the digestion, helps us uh, relate to and absorb and process our surroundings, both on the physical level, spiritual level, emotional level, all of that. Lavender connects us root to spine up into the ethers. It is also about the digestion. So, once again, that integration. And it helps when we are walking in and integrating in the higher planes, when there are vibrational shifts that are happening. It helps us attune to that because lavender itself, think of the color, it is of the higher chakra levels, it is of those levels of clarity. But when we make that shift, our physical body, as always, has to become in unison internally, all those little cells within us, right? So last night we went to Kirtan. We went to see Deva Premal, took the kidlet. It was really awesome. It was the music he's always fallen asleep to. So naturally he ended up falling asleep. But there's definitely some vibrational shifts that have happened. He was at the Royal McPherson Theatre in Victoria, and the power of over 700 people singing with the layout of that space and the way it echoed and reverberated, it was beyond magical. And yeah, at one point I was just in tears. I can't remember what song it was. Manos was playing this amazing little instrument, and then they had the recordings of they just come up from South America, and they had the recordings of the rainforest playing in the background, and it was just, even though they are becoming bigger, like I think they got an Emmy or something, whatever that award is for musicians, and they still present themselves as humble, as inclusive, getting us singing, making, like, joking on stage, showing us that they're real people. And it was just, it was beautiful. It was so beautiful. So today is about that integration. What kind of beverage or tea do you have on the go? I'm always curious. I'd love knowing what people drink, and because everybody has different things. I actually, side note, I just discovered this new, so at Market Garden, which is a space that when I'm not in my healing space, I am there often. And we just got in a new product called Chaz Golden Milk. So I'm still in this high from last night. Golden milk is turmeric mixed with pepper or ginger for some people, and then a fat. And I always add other spices as well, like make it like a chai, and then I add dates and stuff like that. And this, though, is really simple because we don't always have the time to make our own from scratch. I love my homemade one. The family loves it. It's so delicious because I throw it in the blender and we blend it up with dates and everything. And it's just like, it feels so nourishing. But this was a good grab and go. So it's all organic ingredients with spices and powdered coconut milk. So you just add water and it's really, really delicious. So a good option. Just talking about beverages. Okay. Joy. What is it? How do we lose it? How do we find it? Is it the same for everyone? Joy is that sensation, for me at least, that makes me squeal. That's just like, oh my goodness, I'm so excited. Like we're getting reusable tea bags that you can stuff with your own stuff. And that makes me super excited because they're amazing. And then you can make your own teas. And that does bring me joy. But then there's also the things that bring me joy, like my kid hugging me. Oh, he's a hug monster. Always hug time, and he's up in my business. Laying out in the sun brings me joy. Painting brings me joy. It brings me that sense of, my goodness, this is so good. But then there's the other side of joy too. It might not be that vibrant, squealing, jumping up and down like a little kid inside of you or externally. But it can also be that sense of awe and just that, oh, like art brings me that level. Art brings me into, oh, this feels good. That centered state, that expansive state where you just feel whole, complete, grounded, confident. Everything seems to be going right and smoothly. That level. And why do we lose it sometimes? So often when we're going through this shift, the becoming, the awakening, whatever you want to call it, your reawakening, I like to think of it as a reacquaintance to yourself, a meeting of yourself, your true self, not everything that everybody's told you, not everything that you think you should be, but what you truly are. Sometimes this meeting of yourself includes meeting of past lives, future lives, right? And during this time, you can notice a shift. You can notice a shift in what you can eat, in events that you can take part in things that you thought brought you joy may no longer. And so you are fully rediscovering, what do you like? What do you not like? How much sleep do you need? What kinds of foods appeal to you? What ones don't? What ones can your body handle? What ones can they not? Because your vibration means that the things that you resonate with are going to shift and change. But then how do you know what it is that brings you joy anymore? Or do you know and you've just lost touch with it? It's true. Again, you're seeing the other side of my cup. You're seeing the warning label. I don't know what that's all about. So when we have all these can'ts, or what we tell ourselves are can'ts, let's talk about food, for example. Before you used to be able to eat everything. Now all of a sudden you can't have tomatoes. Now all of a sudden you can't have apples. Now all of a sudden you can't have bread. You can't have dairy. You can't have. And it's so easy to focus on this list of can'ts that your brain then goes and looks at something and goes, I can't have that. I can't have that. Instead of, and that's where our mind goes
that's where it continues to go. It's like when you're riding your bike, where your eyes go, that's where you're going to go. So if you're constantly looking at the cats, where's your mind automatically going to go? You're creating that pathway, right? So looking at the things you can. So food as an example, yes, you might have your list of cans, but let's flip that on its head and make your list of cans. You can have bananas, you can have strawberries, you can have mangoes, you can have cucumbers, you can have potatoes, you can have broccoli, you can have cauliflower, you can have jackfruit. You can, and then focus on this list, and that's where your eyes will go when you're out grocery shopping, if you're eating out, if you're at home. Oh, these are all the things I can have. It's an abundance. Focus on the abundant aspects. Another really great way to find the joy, because maybe, so this is coming up because this has been something that has been coming up for my clients quite a bit in the last little while. Multiple clients. And so there's this thing that's happening with this shift, and transitions can be challenging, and they can cause bouts of depression. They can cause this malaise where you're just like, I'm done. Don't really care, don't really know, and to see through that. So yes, we have the herbs. I lean on those with the drop doses to open up that spark and to help that spark. But we also have it within us to find that spark. So I call it the sticky note method. Really everything can be done with sticky notes. I love sticky notes. I have so many sticky notes at home. Excuse me. Love sticky notes. So sticky notes. Excuse me, all of a sudden that made it just, I don't know what happened there. Now it's all like weird here. Okay. Sticky notes. The sticky note of joy. For 1 week, I challenge you to make sticky notes for everything that you love. You can make sheets of paper too. I just love sticky notes because you can put them on the wall and they're visual and they're movable. So the key here is to have one thing per piece of paper or one thing per sticky note. Okay. And you write one thing per sticky note. And if you want to give yourself like each day I'll do 5, each day I'll do 10, whatever. But for 1 week, I just want you to write down everything that you can think of that brings you joy, or that if you can't think of anything, that during your day, what you run into that you're like, oh, that actually made me happy, or that shifted me into the state that I enjoy. Because it might not be like sparkling, but it might be like, oh, that feels good. That makes me happy. That takes, if you have physical chronic pain, which is another thing that can come up, that makes it so that you don't, it's hard to see the positive when you're in constant pain, which then just feeds the pain, because we're bringing down our vibration, we're bringing down our density, denser levels, dense, which causes more pain and stagnation. So let's bring that up. So you create these sticky notes. I find the best success is when you just write a sticky note every time something comes up. So if you're out and about and you don't have sticky notes with you, just add a little one into your phone, and when you get home, write it on the sticky notes or on the sheets of paper, something that you can move around. At the end of the week, take all these sticky notes or all these little pieces of paper and lay them out. See if you can see any themes. Maybe you have a lot about nature. Put all the nature ones together. Maybe you had something to do with animals. Put all the animal ones together. Something to do with people. Put all the people ones together. And then if you have subcategories, like maybe in nature you notice there's some about trees and there was some about water. Separate those guys out. And what this is doing is this is allowing you to look at categories of things that bring you joy. Who cares about the categories? I care about the categories, and you should care about the categories. Not should. I take that back. If you care about the categories and you actually put it down into these categorical sections, you then can find ways to explore other areas that could also bring you joy. Because maybe if you're thinking, like, I don't know what brings me joy. You're like, okay, well, what kind of areas, what kind of things do you like? I don't know. Right? When we get into that darkness, when that cloud comes over us, whatever, I don't care. I'm done. It doesn't matter. But this will help you be like, oh, you know what? I really love nature. And I especially noticed I like trees and water. So what kind of things? And then you can brainstorm. What kind of things can I do within the trees? Well, if another category is hanging out with people, But let's say you're hanging out with people isn't the same as it used to be. You used to be able to go out, you used to be able to go to the pubs, and you used to find joy in that. Or you used to be able to go out dancing, but maybe you have physical limitations that don't allow you to go out dancing, or your hours of availability don't allow you to go out dancing where you are. There's not the types of events that you like to go to. But you like socializing. You're like, okay, well, I like trees and I like people. How can I combine those? Maybe there's a hiking group. Or maybe there's just a group that hangs out in nature. Oh, you like art as well and you like trees? Oh, maybe there's an artist group where they get together and they go and they paint trees or draw trees or whatever. So sticky notes or little pieces of paper, and every time something sparks joy in you or makes you, if you're like, oh, that actually makes me feel good, because it could be, there's varying levels of where we're at, right? Write them down and then categorize them, and then that'll help you find more things that spark joy. And if truly you put them into categories and you're like, I don't even want to go past that for now, you know how great that is? Just to have those. Now write them down within their categories. Make a note of them somewhere that's easy to find. So that when you're not feeling tip top and you're like, you know what, I'm feeling really depressed. I really would like something to boost me up, or I feel I need something every day to help boost me up. You can go to your list and say, I really enjoy swimming. Sweet. I'm going to go swimming. I really enjoy this. I really enjoy this. And it takes you, when you're in that state of having to think about these things, when you're in the defeatist mode, it's so easy to get and just keep whatever, it doesn't matter. I don't know, I can't think of anything. But the list is here for you. It's there. And then when you feel like it, if you're like, I need something different, you can look at those and go, I like this and I like this. Maybe there's something to do with that I could go and try that's new. That'll spark joy in me. Because you never know until you try. Okay. That was my little thing on joy. If you have any comments, I would love to hear what sparks joy in you. What is the one thing, if I say what sparks joy in you, what's the first thing that comes to your head that makes you just go, oh yeah, that's it right there. Okay, so much love and Stardust. Stay tuned. I'm going to do a tour coming up very shortly here of my new space. Okay, mwah.